Hello, everyone, and welcome today to Real Women, Real Purpose Talk Show, live in the On Purpose Woman Global Community Facebook group. I am Kathryn Yarborough. I am one of the two hosts of the Real Women, Real Purpose Talk Show. I'm a co-leader in the On Purpose Woman Global Community and the creator of the Manifesting Clients Academy. And today I am here with Stacey Murphy. Hi, Stacey.
Hello, my dear.
Oh my goodness, you are looking so beautiful. I told you that before, but I just want to acknowledge it again. You are being
Thank
the
you.
essence of what you're going to share with us, I know.
Yes, it's all about presence, right? So we're going to be having a real juicy and fun conversation.
I love it. We're going to talk about Stacey's 7 skills of highly effective women who get the man and the money. Woo! I'm getting all excited and hot just thinking about it. Okay, so y'all, Stacey Murphy is a love and intimacy coach. Stacey is one of the wonderful women doing these interviews with us who I met through the Women's Prosperity Network. So she is part of this whole other awesome community, just like the On Purpose Woman global community is wonderful. The Women's Prosperity Network is wonderful. If you are an entrepreneur, you need to be part of communities. So those are two great ones to be in, and I'm very grateful to both of them. And so I met Stacey. I know her from really live in person, and I also love being with her on Zoom. So she is a love and intimacy coach. She is also known as a specialist of the feminine arts. Okay. She shows professional women how to feel strong, feminine, and seductive in the presence of men. I am getting hot and bothered in life and love so that they can embrace their queen status. So let's all put on our crowns. There we go. And lead us into a vibrant life. That's what she does. And through her Quality Man GPS system, okay, woo, I think that means we're going to find a quality man. Women learn how to attract and maintain a happy relationship with a high caliber man that stands the test of time. So, Stacey, I really want to know where those high caliber men are. So, first of all, my first question to you is, where are they? Where are the high caliber men? Are they really out there?
Actually, they are. High caliber men are out there. Are we open to actually seeing it? That's part of the issue. Are we open to seeing it? Because it's kind of interesting. There is a client that I'm gonna get ready to work with, and it's a man. And he's looking for that high value woman, right? Which is what I teach women to step into, right? That is their queen status. That is their juiciness. And I also call it their feminine genius. Because ladies, we are all geniuses in our own right. So we just have to embrace that and stuff. And when we do, the high quality men actually start coming out the woodwork. You'd be shocked and surprised about that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Huh. Okay. So I've got some things to learn from you, Miss Stacey. All right. So here we go. Let me just get this straight though, just in case anybody's curious. When you say you're going to share with us the 7 skills of highly effective women who get the man and the money, do you mean that we're going to get the man and his money, or we're going to get a man and our own money? I just want to clarify that for everybody.
Both.
We're going to get his money and our own money?
Both. Because here's the one thing. What happens is, before you can expect anyone to love you, treat you, pamper you, you have to be willing to do it for yourself. Right? And so what happens is, if you want a man to pamper you, and there are so many different ways, because I teach my ladies about, being open for a man to spoil them. But there's so many different ways that you do that. A man can spoil you with his time. He can spoil you with his attention. He can spoil you with love, amazing juicy sex as well. And he can spoil you with, positive emotions, as well as his money in the form of pampering. So that pampering could be going on vacations. It could be, whatever you consider that for you. And everyone should define that part for themselves, because we're not all the same and we're not all looking for the same thing. But when I talk about spoiling, I'm talking about on all of those different levels, right? So it's not surface, it's not shallow. But if you're not willing to work on your own prosperity consciousness, right? Which is the opposite of lack. If you're not willing to work on your own prosperity consciousness, how can you expect a man to give that to you? You know,
Oh
you
my
can't,
God. All
right?
right. All right. Speak the wisdom, Stacey. Okay. Just knock me down. If I'm not willing to work on my own prosperity consciousness, why would I expect it from a man? Well, so let me just say this. I got to be honest with you and with all the listeners. I haven't really wanted to be in a relationship for a really long time, but goodness sakes, if I hang out with you long enough, I'm going to want one. You're making me want one. So I don't know what it is about you, but you're talking about how these guys could treat me in this wonderful way. That, I mean, that would be
Because
so
it's
nice.
because it's real. I mean, let me tell you something. A lot of people, okay, you see how I am now, right? You see what my presence is now. And when I talk with women or I'm teaching women about stepping into their feminine genius, it's about them being charismatic leaders by day, bringing home the money, having the lifestyle that they want, having, and whatever that lifestyle may be. But then also, it's about being a seductive lover at night, right? So they can be rocking it with their partner. And this is all about balancing all those aspects of what a woman has the potential to be and what we want to embrace. Because let me tell you, when I started out, I am a proud introvert. Yes, I am. When
You
I
go,
tell
girl.
people, when I tell people, I mean, because when I tell people I'm an introvert and they find out what I do for a living, I get the what? You know, I get the crazy look. They start like, I was like, yeah, I'm an introvert and I'm proud of it. And I said, yeah, introverts, they're just as charismatic as someone that's an extrovert. They just do it in a different way. That's all. And this is all about being authentic, right? And here's the other thing. I also teach women about really embracing their feminine power and their feminine energy, because we are so caught up in our masculine energy, which may help us in our career and business, but it torpedoes our relationships like you wouldn't believe. Because, and I specialize with, you know, in heterosexual couples. So I know there are some that may be listening to it and they're same-sex couples. And so in those instances, I say, even in those dynamics with same-sex couples, one person will take more of the masculine energy and the other one will take more of the feminine energy. So you kind of look at it from that perspective. So I just kind of want to get that on the table because I usually get asked that question. But what happens is if your partner is a man, he doesn't want to be in a relationship with another dude, right? He wants to be in a relationship with a woman that's in her divine feminine, so he can show up in his divine masculine, right? And then the two of you, and I tell people, it's like the yin yang. Think of the yin yang symbol. That is how the two pieces complement each other, not complete each other, right?
Oh, girl, seriously, I hang out with you and I keep listening to this. I really will want a man. I'm telling you. Well, so that, you know, I'm clear and everybody else is clear. When you talk
Yes.
about feminine arts and stuff, are you actually talking about sex and what happens in the bedroom? Or are you talking about how we get the guy into the bedroom? I mean, do
I'm
you do both
actually
of those
talking,
things?
I'm talking about both. I'm talking about the beginning, the middle, and the end of the day. Because here's the one thing. And when a woman is really embracing her feminine energy, and let me kind of actually share what that is, because sometimes I get women say, like, what exactly is that, right? And so I want you to kind of think of it in this way. Feminine energy is gentle power, right? It's open, it's welcoming, it's receptive, okay? Feminine energy is also very fluid, like water. It's very Venetian, you know, like with Venus, even though Venus, if you've ever seen the planet Venus, it has a ton of volcanoes on it. But anyways, feminine energy is very fluid, yes. Feminine energy is very fluid, but feminine energy is also very seductive. Feminine energy is also charismatic. And I'm actually going to define the seduction for the ladies, because we've been brainwashed to think that seduction is manipulation, and it's not. And we've been brainwashed to think that way to control our energy, because we are that powerful, right? We are that powerful. And people are sometimes afraid of that power. So they try to make you small so they can be big. So here's all about, this is not about making you small. This is about you shining authentically who you are and loving the woman that you are. And when you do that, that's when you start feeling yummy and juicy and sassy and stuff. Because like I said, I'm an introvert. And when I was younger in my 20s, I was like that typical wallflower, right? Would go someplace, you know, in New York, so I'm from New York City, would go to say maybe a club and be like, oh, I want a guy to talk to me. Oh my God, but I'm afraid. Oh, I want a guy to talk to me. Oh my God, I can't look at him, you know, and all this other
Oh,
stuff. Be
I
afraid,
know. Yeah, I
you know,
remember being like that.
yes, be afraid of eye contact and all the craziness that went with it.
Mhm.
And I was like, wait a minute, you gotta stop the crazy, because if I want to have the life that I want, if I want to have the relationships that I want, I have to get out of that fear. And I was very much in my masculine energy growing up in New York City. You know, I even had a 3-piece pinstripe suit girl, right? With the vest and all, a yellow tie. So I was really in my masculine energy. When I tell people I was in my masculine energy, I was a card carrying member of the masculine club there. But it was just not working for me, especially with my relationships. And it was actually impeding my progress in my career as well, right? It was also doing that. So going back to what the feminine energy is, I had to kind of understand what that was so I can start to embrace it. And I was afraid of vulnerability. Oh my gosh. When you say vulnerable, it's like you said, a 4-letter word, right? So, but vulnerability is also feminine energy. Okay, vulnerability. And so here's a different way to look at being vulnerable. Instead of say, oh my God, vulnerability, just replace that with, are you being authentic? Are you being genuine? Are you being yourself? Because in order to do all those things, you have to be a little bit vulnerable in order to do that. So those are all feminine energy. Like I said, seductive, being vulnerable. And that is where feminine energy is. Now, masculine energy is rigid structure, it's rigid power. It is pushing, it is taking, it's more predatorial, right? That's masculine energy. And so what here it's, ladies, when you are really swimming in your feminine energy, you actually will be swimming downstream in life, and you'll be going with the current versus going against the current, which is struggle, right? So, and ladies go, well, you know, I need to take more sometimes aggressive in life or in my business. That, okay, here's how you can combine the two energies so it can work for you. So when you combine like gentle power, which is a feminine trait, and you combine that with a little bit of aggression, which is the masculine energy, it transforms into initiative, right? That's what it transforms into. So when someone takes initiative versus someone being aggressive, it feels different. We appreciate people that take initiative. When someone's aggressive with you, what do you normally do, Kathryn? If someone's aggressive with you, what do you do?
Well, I inwardly flinch, and I think, okay, I don't want to respond, and maybe if it's on Facebook, I may even delete their post or whatever. I don't like it, and then I'll start to doubt myself, and I'll feel bad about myself, and then I have to do some inner stuff with myself. It just isn't good.
And it doesn't feel good. It does not feel good. And so ladies, that's why I want you to think about, it's not about being aggressive. It's about taking initiative, because when you take initiative, you are still living in your feminine power. Because when someone comes at you aggressively, what does your body do? The first thing you want to do is you want to pull back, or you put your hands in front of your chest as a way of protecting yourself, right? That's protecting. And so here it's like, when you understand where your energy is coming from in terms of masculine and feminine, you have the power to make adjustments so that you are more inviting to people. And when you're inviting to people, they will actually be more connected with you and stuff like that. So it's all about doing that. And it's about having fun, right? And that's how come I say it's about being playful and having fun, because when you're playful and fun, how do you feel? So I'm being playful and fun with you right now, Kathryn, and everybody else that's looking at this live. So, but when I'm doing that, how does it make you feel?
Well, I feel relaxed. I feel comfortable. I feel playful with you. Yeah.
Exactly. We're connecting. We are totally connecting. And so that's where, in terms of these 7 skills and steps, that is what it is. It's about allowing you to be that powerful feminine presence, that you're able to command a room like a pro, whether that room is for networking or that room is for speed dating. And nowadays, a lot of the things that we're doing is online. But what happens is whatever energy you're carrying around in your day-to-day life, you're also carrying that energy online, right? It exudes there. So I remember, because my background before being a love and intimacy coach, I was in corporate marketing. I did brand marketing. And these 7 steps are your personal brand. It's part of your personal brand. And when I was in corporate though, my media manager, she said, when you're on the phone, have that Mickey Mouse smile on your face, because people can feel it, even if it's just on the phone. Yeah, they can feel the energy. So this is all about really playing with your energy in a way that makes you feel good, because if you feel good, trust me, other people are feeling good with you and stuff like that. Yes.
I love this. I swear I love this. And not only do I love it for me professionally, because that's really what I care about the most, I seriously am considering the possibility of looking for a man. I've said that before. Anyway, we'll see what happens. What I really want to say is, goodness sakes, I wish I had had the wisdom that I have today when I was in my 20s. I would have been much better in the dating scene back then, because there's a lot of what you're saying that I think are skills that I've worked on in my own way for my business, because you do talk about using these things for your business. So I think some of the things that you're teaching, and if I was so uptight, and I still would be, but now I'm hearing you. So if I did decide to look for a guy, I'm not going to be so uptight. I'm loving this. So do you want to list the 7 skills for us?
Yeah, let's get into that, because here's the one thing I love everybody to also hold on to. These 7 steps actually work professionally and personally. They just show up in slightly different ways, okay? So and they also come out of my Love Goddess program, which is one of my Rockstar programs. And Love Goddess program is all about self-mastery, right? That's all about confidence training in the art of seduction and charisma from the bedroom to the boardroom. And charisma and seduction are 2 sides of the same coin. So think of it this way, our feminine brilliance and our feminine genius, it's more like a dimmer switch. It's not an on and off switch. Like currently, a lot of women, it's like an on and off switch. They're one way this way, and then they turn the switch and they're a totally different way in another environment. And so that sometimes causes a lot of confusion, as well as inconsistency in how we're showing up to people. So I want you to think of it more like a dimmer switch. And think of charisma this way. Charisma is having the ability to inspire and motivate people to be their best, do their best, so they can show their light in the world, right?
That's beautiful. I want to do that.
So think of charisma that way. So think about when you're if you're in your career, if you're a business owner, how beneficial can that be in your career or business, right? And things of that nature. The other thing is, even in corporate, I always tell a lot of ladies there, whenever you're doing a team building exercise, that's actually coming from feminine energy, because feminine energy is about collaboration, where masculine energy is about competition, and they feel very different. So that is what charisma is. And charisma is what you're using in your everyday life, even when you're going to the grocery store, even when you're at your job. And if you've ever taken like Strength Finders, for example, they call it the art of wooing. So wooing and charisma are the same thing. And yes, in Strength Finders, it is a key skill, especially for people that are in marketing, that need to sell something and things of that nature. You need to have your wooing aspect really high, because people will trust you. Now, the other side of that, which is the seductress at night, right? So here is the feminine power definition of seduction. Seduction is having the keen ability to entice someone to do something that they want to do anyway, because you create a safe place for them to come out and play with you. And in this safe place, when they're playing with you, they take off their mask that they show the world, but they can be genuine and authentic with you. That is true seduction. And because it creates a win-win situation, they feel good and you feel good, right? So that's what seduction truly is, because manipulation is coercing someone to do something that they don't want to do, but you want them to do. So you feel good because you're getting your way, but they don't feel good because they feel coerced. And here are some of what manipulation looks like: guilt, shame, fear, and judgment. Those are all tools of manipulation, right? And so that's not seduction at all, because seduction is about doing the win-win, right?
So how do you know what they want? Like, let me just say,
Mm-hmm.
my dad used to call her a manipulative B word. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing
Mm-hmm.
up, they're divorced now. Go
Mm-hmm.
figure. And anyway, now as I'm an adult and she says things to me like, oh, this this chicken is so delicious here. Don't you want a bite? And I've already said to her, I don't want any chicken. And she's like, here, Kathryn, don't you want to bite? It's so delicious. And I get where he was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she's trying to make me do something that I don't want to do.
Yes.
So how do you know what the person wants to do the seduction thing? Does that make sense? Does that question make sense?
Yes. Well, it all comes down to communication, sweetheart. It all comes down to that. And this is why I also teach effective intimacy communication in all of my programs. I'm actually going to change the name of that, because people think it's only in like romantic situations in which to do that. And it's actually a formula that you use in all types of communication. Because I always tell people communication is the key to connection, and connection is the key to intimacy. And intimacy, especially from my mentor, she had broken it down phonetically. Intimacy is being able to into me see. So it's a person, you're allowing a person to see into you. That is what intimacy is. And that is where authenticity relies. So it comes down to communication. So here's a prime example, just kind of working off of what you just said. It would sound something like this, because it's a 3-part formula. You start with your feeling. The second part is the behavior. The third part is the outcome, right? That's the formula. I get into it way deeper in the training, but for right now, that's just the simple formula of how it works. So it would sound something like this, and to your mom. So I'm you and you're your mom. So it would sound something like this. I really appreciate that you love how much that chicken tastes and stuff. I'm saying, I totally appreciate that you love how that tastes. At this moment, I am totally full and I can't have any more room in my belly for the chicken. So maybe another time I can eat the chicken and I'm enjoying what I'm having at this moment. Okay? Boom, that's it, right? And so I started with expressing appreciation that she finds the chicken that tastes so good. Okay. The second thing was, you know what? I am totally full. I don't have any room in my stomach for anything else, right? And I'm just assuming that would be the truth. So that's the behavior. And then the third part is the outcome. It's like, maybe I can taste it at another time, right? And then what happens is you're able to state exactly what you want without having to make them feel guilty about offering whatever that is. But then say, for example, they keep pushing for the situation.
Well, let's do it a little different. If you don't mind, I don't really need help with her. If I have the sanity to be playful with her and like have the space within myself, I'm happy to practice this formula. It's a great one. But how do you know with another person, like you're talking about seduction versus manipulation?
Yes.
So if we reversed it and you were her, you're not trying to get me to eat the chicken because I don't want to eat the chicken. However you do it, how do you figure out so I get that you've got to communicate to find out what the other person wants. Like if she was actually did your training, she would in fact have asked me a question before offering me the chicken.
Yes. And what happens is you also have to listen. Right? And when I say it's about active listening. Active listening is you're very present in what the person is saying, and you're not thinking in your head, formulating your next sentence of what it is that you want to say to them, because then you're not truly listening to what they're saying. And here's the thing, especially when we're in any kind of relationship, whether it's professional or personal, when you listen and ask questions, that is how you determine what someone likes or doesn't like, right? And the two work hand in hand. And so when I'm with someone, the other thing I say, don't ask someone in an open end, like a yes or no type of question, right? You have to ask questions that requires the other person to actually respond with a sentence or two and not just yes or no, right? Because yes or no, that tells you something, but it really doesn't get to the meat of what you're trying to do. So you have to ask them questions that really promote a conversation. And many times what you can do is you can start by giving yourself as an example. And then by giving something in your life as an example, it makes them think in their head, oh, okay, what do I think about that? What can I add about that? And then you start having that constructive dialogue back and forth. And that is where, in terms of it's effective communication, right? Because it's a way that you learn to communicate your needs, your wants, your desires, even your frustrations, but you still remain centered and grounded and in your power, not only for yourself, but also for the other person, so they don't freeze up on you.
So to actually get to a place where you've attracted this great man,
yes,
you've had some conversations and you discover, yeah, for it to work, but in order to actually seduce him using your way of thinking, at least this is how I'm interpreting what you're saying, you have had some conversations, so you know that, for example, he wants to, I don't know, relax, just hang out in the bedroom sometimes. And so if let's say if that's the case, I'm feeling like I just want to relax, then I can playfully or whatever invite him into my bedroom and, but let's just hang out, sweetheart, and who knows where we'll go from there. And whereas maybe he had been up until that moment thinking something else, but if I'm inviting him to do something that I know some part of him really enjoys, then, and I'm wanting that too. If I'm being authentic and in the conversation, then it may go that way. It may also not go that way if I'm really being present with him, if it needs to go another way. Is that kind of what you're saying? Am I getting
well, what happens though, here's the other thing. Seduction is not just, it's not about sex. Okay. Because that's the one thing. And I think a lot of times that's where women sometimes get stuck, because they think, oh, seduction is only when I want to get sexy with someone. Now, here's the other thing. Seduction is used all the time in our society. I know, I was in marketing, right? The advertising industry seduces you. I did brand marketing for a major restaurant concept, right? And so what happens is we had to make the food look juicy and appetizing because we eat primarily first with our sight. We eat first with what we see, and then we actually eat it. So what happens is we had to make the shrimp look sexy so that you would be enticed to actually want to eat it. So seduction is being used all the time. And I just wanted to kind of state that so it takes you out of the mind frame thinking, oh, this is only when I want to be intimate with someone. And that's not the case. And the way you talk, right? The way you talk, the pace you talk, how the words come out of your mouth, all of that has to do with seduction as well, right? And so when we're looking at, those, especially when it kind of really top line, because I know we have a limited amount of time, actually what those 7 steps are. I know we can do this all day, trust me.
Yes. So you take over here. You tell us what you want us to know about it.
They're like, what are those 7 steps? Okay.
I know.
And then what happens is I'm going to be sharing these, ladies, and the order and how people will meet you or how you will interact with people, right? And so I'm doing in that particular order so that you can know the flow. And then for some of you, you may want to go deeper in understanding some of these concepts a lot more. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. I'm actually doing a complimentary or free training that will go a lot deeper in what I'm sharing with you here. But let me share step number.
Well, let's do this just in case people are listening right now. Tell people briefly about how they can get to your free training, and then tell us the skills, and then you can come in and talk a little bit more in depth about what that training is.
All right, awesome. Well, the complimentary training, well, first of all, you can reach me here on Facebook, right? Stacey Murphy, or my page on Facebook, which is the Vixen Academy with Stacey Murphy. And you can reach me on my website. And I believe you're also going to have a link to that. But the complimentary training that I was talking about, it's called from first date to forever, right? The 4 love goddess skills that get you the guy, the man, as well as the money. And then there'll be a link down here, but if you go to thevixenacademy.com/first date forever. All one word, right? All one word. So I wanted to do that to kind of make it very simple and easy. And that is going to be like a 4-week complimentary training series that's going to go deeper into what I'm getting ready to outline very quickly right here. But that's the way you can reach me, or you can just send me an email as well at vixenacademy@gmail.com. So be able to do that. So the first skill that I like to talk about, the first step, is actually your personal brand and your presence, right? And so that is step number 1, is your presence, because the goal of that one is to connect and open doors, right? Because here's one thing, when you walk into a room, what do we all normally do? We scan the room to see, okay, who looks like a friendly face that I can walk over to and connect with? Or, oh, I know those people, I can go over there and connect with them, and then they could possibly introduce me to other people, right? So that's always the first thing that people see is your presence, and it's to connect and to open doors. And it's not about being self-centered or anything else like that, but we first connect with what we see, right? That's the first thing. We connect with what we see, and it's professional as well as personal. And because the skill that's really needed there is what I call really embracing your web, which is your woman's energetic body, right? And I loved how the authors in Sexual Bewitchery had kind of reframed that and calling it woman's energetic body. It's all about your energy, girl, all about the energy. So that's number 1. Number 2 is your self-assuredness, right? It's your confidence, so when you're walking into a room, do you walk with your chin up, your eyes forward, or are you walking with your head down because you're afraid of someone seeing you, right? So it's your self-assuredness. And the goal of that one is to calm fears, to calm apprehensions, so that people can open themselves up to trust you, right? And trust what you're saying. So number 2 is self-assuredness. Number 3 are your people skills, right? Your people skills builds trust, right? And it works that way professionally as well as personally. So are you connecting with people by having eye contact? How is your body language? Because communication is primarily body language. Then it's what you say and how you say it. But the first thing is body language, right? So all of those for your people skills, and especially like me doing marketing, I was in PowerPoint hell like almost every week, doing some kind of PowerPoint presentation, having to talk in front of people all the time. So what happens is, what are your people skills? Are you connecting with people and doing that? So the next one is how you sound, all right? How you sound. So and this surprises people. I was born and raised in New York City, but a lot of people go, I don't hear that accent. Exactly. I had voice training when I was in college, right? And so what happens is how you sound. Do you project confidence in your voice? Are you articulating your words? Are what you're saying in your tone, in your pace, allowing people to connect? So when I first left New York City, in New York, we talk fast because you have to. We talk fast. But when I left New York, people were having a hard time understanding what I was saying because I was talking too fast. And so I had to slow down my pace, right? And then here's the other thing, ladies, your voice is like music that soothes the savage beast and everything else like that. So that's why how you sound is also very important. So that's the one step there. The next step, which is number 5, is your presentation style, right? Your presentation style. And why this is important is also to connect and share. Your presentation style is how people will know, what do you have going on up here? Right? What's in your brain, right? And doing all that. So you're sharing with people in your presentation style, and they're also connecting with you, and you're also sealing yourself as an authority in business, but then also connecting with people in your personal life because they get to know what you're all about, right? What do you stand for? What are your passions? What lights you up, right? All of that is what comes in that area there. And then number 6 is, are you a confident leader versus a bitter follower, right? So this is about this is about projecting your confidence to lead, right? And this is not about browbeating people and manipulating people, right? This is about inspiring people. So I always tell people there's 2 ways you can look at it. People love the Pope and they do things because he's a confident leader, right? And things of that nature. But then there's also the mafia. People do things there because they're afraid, right, of the mafia. So what happens is there are, in those instances, that would be like the bitter follower and things of that nature. So here it's, you want to be that confident leader that inspires people to be their best, so they will want to be on that journey along with you, right? And that's what it entails. And then the 7th one is about having that collaborative mindset versus the competitive mindset, right? Because like I said, collaboration is a feminine energy trait. So when you're collaborating with people, that is about we. When it's competition, it's about me. That is the biggest difference. And when you are in your relationships, especially with your partner, you don't want to be in competition in your personal relationships. You want to be in partnership. You want to be in collaboration in those connections. And whether those connections are personal, whether they're with family, friends, intimate, romantic, or even work in your career or business. So I want you to think and also use yourself as an example when you're around people that exude those 7 steps very seamlessly. How does that make you feel in their presence? And you want to be right there with them versus, here she comes, or here he comes, and all this other stuff. You want to run the other direction, right? So when you are rocking all of those skills, it actually leads to you getting both the man as well as the money in both ways. It's like jazz hands and everything else like that.
I know. That's what we do in the On Purpose Woman community when we're on our calls. Because, I love this, Stacey. Yes, exactly. These are great skills. I really appreciate your wisdom, because it's not just it's great. It's for relationships, whether it's a potential romantic relationship, should I decide to go in that direction, or anyone else. And also it's for life and people and getting along well with people. And they didn't teach us relationship skills in school when I was growing up. I don't think they do it now either. And that's really what you're talking about. These are pretty much everything is, how do we get along with other people in a way that's a win-win? And that's what you're sharing. And I mean, with maybe a little extra thing there when it comes to relationships or money or whatever, but really that's what you're inviting us to do.
And it's like I said, they're 2 sides of the same coin. And when you're rocking these skills in your intimate or romantic life, you're just turning up the intensity a little bit more. That's what it is. And so you kind of play and you ebb and flow. You remember I said feminine energy is very fluid. So you ebb and flow with those energies. And it can be used on anything. I mean, and I'm also going to talk about it a little bit more in the training, but that is how using these skills is how I got an opportunity, actually an exclusive opportunity with Patrick Dempsey, Mr. McDreamy himself.
I saw that.
It was actually at a business function that I was attending, and I get into the story. It's a really hilarious story, but I get into the story. I will in the training, but using these skills is how I got that opportunity with Patrick Dempsey, and I was the only person out of over 1,000 people. And when people found out, they're like, "How did you get that?" I was like, "Well, I got the touch," and I was like, "I have the touch," and, but that's what I teach, and I love teaching it because I went from being that wallflower, I went from hiding my true power and who I am to a woman that can, sing it off the rooftops. I'm like, I am woman, hear me roar, and all this other stuff. And I'm having a good time with it. And this is all about being authentically who you are, because this is what men want from you, ladies. High quality men, this is what they're looking for. They want you to be your queen in your queen status. so they can show up as your king. That's what they want. And that's what you have the power within you to have. You just have to embrace it and live it. That's what you got to do.
Wow. Who knows what tomorrow will bring for me? So, my friends, Stacey, will you remind everyone who's listening
Yes.
again about your free training that's coming up, how they can sign up for it? And it
Yes.
starts on the July 21st, I believe.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes, it starts on July 21st. And again, it's called From First Date to Forever. And it's about the 4 love goddess skills that will guarantee you the man as well as the money, because they actually work on very similar energy. And in the training, I will share exactly how that is, how they're all connected. And if you go to, on the web, if you go to thevixenacademy.com/first date forever, you can go ahead and register for that. And I kind of made it very easy for people. Since it's a 4-week series, you can register for all 4 or just attend the ones that you like, right? So you're not locked into doing all 4 of them, but if you want a full breadth, and I will be going into these 7 skills more deeply over the 4 weeks, then join me for the complete 4 weeks. But you may want to say, you know what, that interests me a little bit more. Just go for that one. So that's how you can sign up for that complimentary training that does start on July 21st, or you can also email me at vixenacademy@gmail.com, and I can send you the link there as well. So it's going to be fun.
Awesome. Are those going to be live on Zoom, or are they recorded?
Yes.
Or
they are going to, yes, they're going to be live on Zoom. And what I'm also planning on doing there is there'll be each class will have a little bit of like a handout for all the students, because I'm teaching, right? So you're going to get a handout that you'll be able to follow for each class. And then I'm also going to be sharing exercises and even giving some of the ladies an opportunity to get some laser coaching, hot seat coaching during these calls and everything else like that. And so all of this comes out of my Rockstar program, Love Goddess Mastery. So you kind of get a little taste of what that training is about as well. So that's what the 4-week experience is.
So just briefly, just in case someone's wondering, so obviously they can do your free training and get a little bit more, like find out more about what you're up to. But ultimately, if, let's say, for example, someone like me actually really wanted to go out and find a guy and get into a relationship, is that what you help people do?
Yes. And so that would be another program, my other Rockstar program, which is Manifest Your Man. Yes. And because all my coaching is law of attraction based. That's the foundation of my coaching. And Love Goddess, like I said, is about self-mastery. It's also teaching ladies charm school skills, how to
so
woo.
they can, so Love Goddess is both for the man and for out in the world, whereas Manifest Your Man is about if you want to go and get the guy.
Yes. If you really want to.
Okay, so both of those sound really, really powerful and useful, Stacey.
Yeah, and Manifest Your Man, which is what's a little bit different about that, where Love Goddess is a lot about self-mastery and you start to learn how men think and things of that nature. Manifest Your Man, you're actually now doing the other part, where is you're learning men, right? And you're learning men. So I teach ladies in that course, they develop their relationship blueprint, right? Their quality man relationship blueprint. That's where the GPS system comes in. And in the 7 key relationship areas, but in Manifest Your Man, you really are learning the fundamentals about men, how they love, how they process their emotions, how they view money in their relationships, as well as sex, right? Because those are the top 3 reasons relationships fail: incompatibility, money, and sex. So I address them in the coaching so that they're not an impediment moving forward in your relationships, and you can actually go forward in your relationships feeling healthy, whole, and complete. So for those that really need to work on themselves, they start with Love Goddess so they can be that rock for themselves. And then for those that want to really attract their mate in their life, they do Manifest Your Man, because then they're going to be learning about all the ins and outs of what I call Mars and learning the terrain of Mars and everything else like that. So that's how they all fit together.
Stacey, I love it. So Vixen, VIXEN Academy.com. Go there, sign up for her free, Stacey's free training, or reach out to her to have a conversation if you want to take the next step right away, because you're like, oh my God, I'm hot and bothered. And I do want to say that I did not know until after having my son how completely different men are. Wow, that was quite a lesson.
Yes.
That's another conversation. It's time for us to wrap up, because this was so good. We went way longer than I was expecting.
I know.
I
I can definitely be back if you want. And like, people can put in comments, what do they want to hear more about, or things of that nature. And I'll be happy to do that as well, darling.
Awesome. Okay. So thanks to Stacey. Thanks everyone for joining us for the Real Women, Real Purpose Talk Show live in the On Purpose Woman Global Community Facebook group. On Monday, I'm going to be back. This coming Monday, July 13th, I'll be interviewing Lilia Shoshana Ray at 4 p.m. Eastern. The topic is how angels help us live a life on purpose. So we're going from being hot and bothered to connecting with the angels, but I can go there. I'm excited. I love it all. For a list of all the July and August Real Women, Real Purpose Talk Show topics, go to onpurposewomanmagazine.com, onpurposewomanmagazine.com, and check out our current issue. There you'll find within it a list of all the interviews, both the ones that have already happened and the wonderful ones that are coming up. So you can join us live in this Facebook group should you desire. However, if you want to watch a replay of this one, or share Stacey with your friends, or watch any of our other ones, go to YouTube. I will upload this video as the replay in the next 24 to 48 hours in the On Purpose Woman Global Community YouTube channel. So sign up, go to YouTube, type in On Purpose Woman Global Community, and sign up to get our notifications. Subscribe, and that way you'll be notified anytime one of our Real Women, Real Purpose talk show videos gets uploaded, so you can watch it and share it with your friends. I will see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.